frame rate there.
Back in 2020, a developer known as Shane Ruetz ported a chunk of the Atari Jaguar classic, Alien vs. Predator, into Unreal Engine 4 for PC. You might be wondering why he would use a modern engine for remaking an old-school FPS game. Turns out he made this to use as a resource for demonstrating his abilities in this engine. I had a back and forth with Ruetz. He told me that when Unreal Engine 4 implemented visual programming, he wanted to learn and make something with it. So as a longtime fan of the Jaguar game, and less of a fan of its frame rate, he decided to try rebuilding it. It's been all but abandoned at this point. A short-lived passion project is the best way I can think of describing it. The most recent build is available to download for free, and I'll link it in the description. In case you don't know, Jaguar Alien vs. Predator was unique for the time. It's a survival horror game, which for 1994 might make it the first of its kind for the FPS genre. It isn't fast-paced like Doom, which as I understand it was intentional, so as to fit with the unsettling tone of the game. While it's awesome that we're given a build to play for ourselves, it's quite limited and really jank. Only one of its 3 campaigns is available, Colonial Marine. Let's take a closer look. Starting up a new game, you may find yourself momentarily impressed. It has all 5 sublevels and is littered with aliens. The original level design is intact, with enhanced lighting effects, and it creatively utilizes render distance. This adds a layer of horror to those creepy xenomorphs, slowly taking form in the shadows as you move in. As you explore this desolate ship, collect keycards, open doors, kill some aliens, shoot a couple facehuggers, maybe find a new weapon lying around. Most likely the pulse rifle, which creates this orange line on the screen every time you shoot it for some reason. Elevators and vents are functional, though the aliens you'd usually see inside of them are missing. Predators, as a whole, are unfortunately absent, and so too is the motion tracker gadget. Ruetz said these ideas were next on the list, but he didn't get that far. For being in such an early state like this, it's normal for things to be missing. Something I can't explain, however, is the forced invulnerability. Your energy does reduce after taking damage, but once you've lost it all, you'll be sitting there like nothing happened.
The energy never dies.
There are functional medkits scattered around the ship, so what gives? In reaching out to Ruetz about this, he told me that he never got around to coding the player's death by the time the latest build was released. Now, a first-person shooter from 1994 will need extra work done to make it feel 90s accurate in a 2014 engine. This remake didn't get far enough for that. Aliens move with such fluidity that don't match their animations at all. Instead, it appears as if they're constantly sliding on ice. Surrender today, attack tomorrow. Seriously, these guys are barely a threat anymore. Good thing, because there are just so many of them. I was having a real hard time finding the ammunition to take all these guys down. The Marine should have had a melee weapon in this game, don't you think? I'm getting the vibe that the AI isn't completely there yet. The remake uses familiar FPS controls. You'll use WASD for moving around, mouse to aim horizontally, and left click to shoot. Keys 1 through 4 swap between weapons. By pressing M at any time, you can bring up the game's map, which sorta helps. It would be more useful if it didn't show me as a single tiny dot. Oh my god, these vents! You can pause the game by pressing the P key. From there, an in-game menu can be found by pressing O. There's an option to change the opacity of the HUD, and save your game to one of 3 slots. Unfortunately, the game crashed whenever I tried to load one. His method of taking sprites from the game wasn't by the use of a sprite sheet, as one doesn't yet exist online. For the aliens, he would boot up an emulator and cut out each sprite pixel by pixel. That's a lot of work. It's like I'm in the back rooms. Anyways, as far as these projects go, this is a decent concept. I can't speak for how technically impressive it is, but as a small passion project, I respect the attempt. It would need a great deal of improvements to be a suitable alternative, but Ruetz has expressed some interest in fixing the bugs and potentially reigniting this thing. For now, he's too busy finding work and isn't able to spend too much time on a free project like this. I'm sure we've all been there at some point. I, for one, would love to see this game on PC, and here we have a working proof of concept. Though I won't likely be trying this one again, I enjoyed giving it a look. I hope we get to see this game make a return in some form eventually. And that's about all my thoughts on this thing. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you frame raiders in the next video.